Hello there, lovely good morning and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast Show. It is the Wednesday edition and it's about to get exciting as we urge you to rise and thrive this particular morning. My name is Joe Smarter, and of course we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and also on GoTV and DSTV. Please like our Facebook page, our YouTube channel as well. Let's grow the numbers together, and we'll be giving you an opportunity to come through and give your submission regarding the recent happenings in the country. Now let's take you to what transpired yesterday, and of course we showed you a video clip where a civil rights activist, if you like, and human rights commissioner, Miss Laura Mitty, read a letter or a write-up or an article that was written by Dr. O'Brien Kaba regarding the happenings at the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, a state institution that is mandated to curb corruption, to nip it in the bud. However, the happenings there shocked some sectors of society due to this expose by Dr. O'Brien Kaba, and within 24 hours, we saw a letter flying around from State House issued by Mr. Clayson Hamasako, of course, that the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, had accepted the resignation of Director General for the Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Tom Trevor Shamakamba. We'll be showing you that letter on your screen in a moment so that you're able to see the contents of the letter. There you have it there from the office of the President, State House. That was the statement that was issued that President Hakainde Hichilema has accepted the resignation of Mr. Tom Trevor Shamakamba as ACC Director General. And there you have it. Now calls were made to for the Director General, of course, to resign. We don't take pleasure in people resigning. However, going through the write-ups on Facebook and also in different WhatsApp blogs, there has been calls again to have the board dissolved and also to have management dissolved. And these are coming from you, the viewers out there. Different members of the public are suggesting that, and this is what we're getting from the WhatsApp blogs that we are monitoring, and of course on social media as well, the comments that are coming through after that resignation letter was posted on different social media platforms. Those calls are being made because we believe that the Anti-Corruption Commission has to be an autonomy body without any interference from any state agencies or any state institutions. So there you have it there. That's the latest. You can come through and give us a comment on that particular one. We move on to matters that have to do with politics. The United Kwacha Alliance is now experiencing cracks as Savoy Imboyela, the NDC faction leader, has some things to say, and we'll be playing you that audio that we monitored as the Camnet TV breakfast show or team, if you like, or be, so that you are able to get the contents of that particular audio. But let me read a bit. Now, tensions rise in Uka Alliance as NDC leader, Savoy NDC faction leader, we believe there are two NDCs, denounces PF ties. Now, according to some WhatsApp audios that we have intercepted, National Democratic Congress faction leader Savoy Imboyela criticized Patriotic Front PF member Chano Dangwira, accusing him of fostering confusion within the alliance. Imboyela recounted the origins of the UKA, asserting that alliance never intended to partner with the PF, which he described as tainted and unpopular among many Zambians. According to Imboyela, it was PF's Given Lubinda who pleaded for the PF to be included in the alliance. Now we do have this audio clip. Please Listen in and later on call us as we prepare at exactly 8 hours to usher in our guest, Mr. Dennis MUTUMBA. He is a good governance expert. He will be here with us. But for now, let's listen in to this audio that is making rounds on different social media platforms. And of course, you might just hear it for the first time right here on Camnet TV. Please listen in.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I don't know what is going on in this group. Bomu or Obwanj? Okay, I wanted to put this comment before Chanoda was removed, but I still forward it to him. Okay, I think now that he has been removed, I don't want to see any admin bring him back. Last time was removed, and he came back, and he has brought confusion. Personally, Chanoda is my friend, is somebody I know, but I think we can't tolerate him here anymore, okay? I think this confusion is totally unacceptable. Like I've said, I'm going to forward him this. Number one, let me give people history here that the time we are creating an alliance, PF was not even there. I think Walubinda can tell the PF members that Wakateka, President Silavwe, and I started meeting. Let me tell you the history of an alliance that we have. We started meeting, the three of us, in my house. Okay, let's come together. And by then we were saying we don't want to have anything to do with PF. Anything with PF we don't want. That was where we started from. At that time also, President Kalaba started calling me. We need to have an alliance. We started talking. In fact, I told him, we'll be talking about Navakateka, Nasirav. Okay, Naveve here is talking to a few people here, there. Tamboshta meet. When we met, that was our first thing, that no PF. Later on, President Sean Tembo, who else was there? If you remember the first presser that we had a presser per Southern Sun. PF was not there. When Walwinda saw that, he called us. In fact, he called me personally. That was like the day before the presser, which was being conducted with Southern Sun the following day. He called me in the evening, spent 1 hour or so, and he was like, why isn't PF there? And we told him exactly what we felt. We're like, we feel that anything involving PF, people think that it's a PF project. We don't want. So I think we spoke about 40 minutes Nabalubinda that day. Until finally asked me to say, okay, fine, you've made your point, we won't be part of it, but can we come? They said, okay, fine, you can come through. And the PF came for that Southern Sun presser. They were not front seat. They sat in the audience as members. I think it's Wadifwika and whoever, I can't remember who the representatives that he brought through. That's how it was. From there, Tambokamba, we had to sit Teveka Nozishta convince to say, let's bring PF on board. By then, most of us did not want, because we're saying, no, PF has got tainted hands. Don't forget that by the time you people were losing power, a lot was against PF, okay? So much. So by then, a lot of us were even scared to be associated with PF. That was the situation. But from there, when we finally made up our minds to say, okay, let's bring our friends on board. Just like a relationship, you get the good and the bad. And we accepted. Manja by us coming into an alliance with PF, we can't survive on our own. We've survived on our own all this time. Now my members, too many members and Chanchan. You people, you lost power with your so many members, okay? With your so many members, you lost power. Do you know how hard it is to lose power in Africa when you're in power? Do you know how hard it is? You were incumbent, you lost power. Meaning that it's not only about membership, really large, for you to win power. You need so much more. Look at how PF was bleeding before UKA was formed. You were losing entirely the whole PF to SP. When UKA was formed, now it's the opposite. People are leaving SP and other parties back to UKA because now they've seen hope. So don't think that people are stupid, okay? And for us, with our positions, I normally avoid this conversation, but I think enough is enough. You PF people who think that we can't do without you, we can do without you. And for me personally, if it wasn't the loyalty of President ECL, his dedication, his commitment to UKA, I think I wouldn't be part of UKA. With people like you with your attitudes. Are you getting the point? But the good thing again, and this is something an assurance I'd give to most of the members here, PF. self-preservation, greedy, selfish, and so don't get again distracted. Okay? Nimaona sometimes even when we put or of my pressers, we put certain people here and there. It's a PF members that normally complain. To say so about confusion. Manja potambos on attack, you know. But to cut the long story short, some of us have our own political parties. We have never been PF, and most likely we shall never be, because we are comfortable where we are. In fact, let me not even be diplomatic. We have never been PF and will never be. Me, that's my stance. I'll never be PF. I'll never be another party. I am NDC. As simple as that. So don't think that by being in an alliance with you, tilibeko enda, or tukupapatirani maningi, or ochanchani, and this thing that you even put on your own president, the roborakamba no kamba by ECO, for example, waenda e direction or e direction. Muzapusa kono pusa koso mwena ngvem kungoremba pasho. It's totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Everybody needs everybody. And also to conclude, look at even the by-elections we've been having. I've been diplomatic all this time, just saying a few things here and there. But you PF, you don't even participate. Even when we go to these by-elections and change, was our Kerama officials, some of you make calls. No, this is Uka, don't do whatever. Your members have been out. The by-elections that have happened, even when we have said it's Uka, PF, you're not part of it. That's the truth. We had the rally in Akitwe. Some of you were calling your members. You knew that your own president would be there, ECL. But you were there calling your own members, telling them not to come to that chat. People that live in Kwacha, PF members and leaders, living in the place where the rally was happening, they didn't show up because of you, some of you people misleading them. But I think enough is enough. Enough is enough. A few of you in the PF that want to bring confusion, but they can't confusion. Is a Pama blogs there, Uka, we shall not allow you. We are going to remove you because as Uka, we don't depend on PF. The biggest strength that you have as PF in terms of your numbers, you don't bring it to Uka. Because you withhold your number and we've been working on our own. Leo utapata vipanga upanga toke nkarani mweka kasi na sitingariteka. Bando zambo enda shimo ku SP. Has the confusion in PF stopped? No, it hasn't. And government will be with you until Kapaya need it. Government will be with the individual political parties, bringing confusion in our parties if we don't unite, if we don't have the same vision. And that's what we've been trying to do.
Okay, so that was NDC faction leader Savoy Imboyela there. You have heard it for yourselves, the content of that particular audio from the UKA member. She is a member of the United Kwacha Alliance, and she has detailed to us how the alliance was formed, the initial thought, the initial upbringing of the alliance, and that the Patriotic Front was never ever a part of the alliance. Our guest is here this particular morning and will be delving into matters of the state of the nation. Mr. MUTUMBA, good to see you and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast.
Thank you so much, Joe. How are you doing? How is Camnet TV?
I'm fantastic. We are fantastic. Though with the ups and downs of load shedding, we are surviving.
Of course, every Zambian is experiencing the same. So we are hoping that the government will do necessary measures to reduce load shedding, because we are told that there's a directive that this country should stop exporting power, so that they cushion the challenge that Zambians are facing with load shedding. Okay,
fantastic. We hope that comes to fruition. As we know, Zambia is a country full of pronouncements. Now let's get into it. Let's start with the SEC Director General tendering in his resignation letter. Some sections of society, that's the UPND Media Director there, Mr. Chelo Katambo. He had something to say about the SEC Director General resigning. Let me just read it here. My director read my mind and went ahead of me. Fantastic. Let me just read the contents of what Mr. Chelo Katambo wrote regarding the resignation of Mr. Tom Trevor Shamakamba. Okay, the status, this write-up reads, resignation or dismissal. The status of SECDG Tom Shamakamba. A number of people have been asking and wondering why President Hakainde Hichilema waited for Mr. Tom Shamakamba to resign as ACC DG instead of firing him in the face of glaring accusations. Well, the answer to that question lies in section 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Anti-Corruption Act number 3 of 2012. 10.2, a person appointed Director General may be removed from the office for inability to perform the functions of the office, whether arising from infirmity of the body or mind or from any other cause of misconduct, and shall not be removed except by or in accordance with a resolution passed by the National Assembly pursuant to subsection 3 of the Act. Number 3. If the National Assembly by resolution supported by simple majority resolves that the question on the removal of the Director General ought to be investigated, the Speaker of the National Assembly will send a copy of such resolution to the Chief Justice, who shall appoint a tribunal consisting of a chairperson with and 2 other members to investigate the matter. This means that the Director General enjoys some security of tenure and can only be removed through a vigorous process of a tribunal. Issued by Chair Lokatambo, Deputy Media Director, UPND. Chair, we are here to discuss these matters of the Director General of the former Director General now of the Anti-Corruption Commission, and you have this write-up that is talking about the ACC code, the National Assembly, legal jargons and whatever. But some sections of society believe that the man was coerced to resign instead of being fired because this was would have been a dent on his CV. Let me get your 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. I've just been, analyzing and following what is happening in the ACC. And just a few minutes before I came in, I was reading through and also listening to the human rights activist, Laura Miti, on, her admonishing to the government, reading through some information that is requesting the president to intervene in the corruption that is going on. Now, if he has resigned, I think it is within his, opinion to do so. Whether privately he's been encouraged to resign, I think that's a good idea, because looking at the provision of the law in the Constitution, there is that process that should be taken. Okay. Now, it's good that he has resigned because you are aware that this country is going through a lot and corruption is still alive. And so, looking at what the president assured the country that he will fight corruption, he started very well. We saw a number of action to those that misused the public funds and resources. Some were convicted, few of them.
Okay, so just kindly hold your thought, Mr. MUTUMBA. There, we quickly go on this split second of a break. We'll be right back. Just a quick break. We'll be right back.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kid show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamangazagya, to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
On live TV, things are unpredictable, and we are here back with Mr. MUTUMBA seated on the other side. Mr. MUTUMBA, you can go ahead with your line of thought.
Yeah, we are all very much aware that corruption is cancer, and in Zambia we are affected by corruption because few individuals are getting more richer, depriving majority Zambians. At the end of the day, we are talking about the resignation of the Director General at ACC. I'm sure we are yet to learn more what could be the reason why he has resigned. Because it is good he's not been fired, so that maybe investigation begins to find out as to whether his performance and his capacity while he was a Director General, did he save this country to fight corruption well as appointed by the president. So now, my view as an activist is that those that are supposed to fight corruption are more corrupt now. They are bandaging, okay? They are cooling the efforts to fight corruption.
Okay.
Corruption cannot fight corruption. So corrupt officers, the staffs, cannot fight corruption.
What should the appointing authority do in this case, Mr. Mutumba?
Resignation paves way for those that are suspecting that the Director General could have been involved, you know, in a bandaging corruption. So it is right time now that the government begins through relevant, institutions that are supposed to investigate. They must begin now to investigate, finding out how were they fighting corruption, were they involved, because it is indicating that some institutions that are supposed to be part of fighting corruption are also involved. So it could be also maybe in the State House, in the ministries, in institutions, in government, education sectors. We are seeing the sirens in fighting corruption. So it is high time that now the government begin to question and investigate those that are mandated to fight corruption, because there is no way we would hear, huge sums of money leaving this country, going in few pockets of individuals without an action. That's why, some section of society are demanding that the president take a quick action. Otherwise, we are losing out, because economically we are crippled. Why should few individuals, those that we trust, those that we give power to govern us, to administer us, there are people that are more involved into corruption? They're cutting deals in the country.
Some names were mentioned, some individuals were cited. However, we're not here to discuss individuals. They're not here to defend themselves. However, it's already in public domain. Dr. Kaba's write-up has gone viral. Miss Laura Miti read about it. It's gone viral as well. Individuals have been mentioned, and accusations have been leveled against these individuals. Let me ask this question. There are those in some quarters of our society that believe that the president, the head of state, when making appointments, but in some appointments, he looked at loyalty instead of the competence of an individual to execute the duties mandated by his office. It is there in public domain. I'm just bringing it out to you, Mr. Mutumba. There are those that are arguing that, are we seeing the UPND tilting more to loyalty than to appointing competent, capable people to run the affairs of this nation? Mr. Mutumba.
Thank you, Joe. I think the president, in his, right and powers to appoint those that he feels they can save better this country together with him, because we are sure that the main objective of this country is to govern us very well and also fight corruption, okay, more seriously. But, appointing people, he may not know who he's appointing, but he appointed them based on their capacity. But unfortunately, these are people that had inner thoughts of doing other things, not what the president appointed them for. You get the point? If I was a president, I appoint you as a minister of finance, I'll look at your capability, but without knowing that you have also evil intentions to root public resources which are meant to benefit the Zambian people. Maybe the president wouldn't appoint somebody he knows that is a criminal. He appointed them based on their capacity and on merit, but unfortunately, they never, did the best to fight, corruption, and also to govern very well alongside the president's, plans to govern this country. So you may not know what somebody thinks. I want to tell you, and I've been talking about this for a longer time, that most politicians, most people that are appointed, they're not there to save us. They're there to steal and enrich themselves. So it's a lesson to the president right now.
Just there, not so long ago, many people might have forgotten maybe, but we don't forget. The president is on record to have said, or to have advised, or quoted in various media platforms, that the SEC Director General should go back to law school if he's failing to execute his duties. Do you remember that?
I recall very well.
You recall very well,
It's
right?
on the public domain.
Yes.
It's on record.
Yes, the president did make mention that if Mr. Tom Shamakamba, the former Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission, if he's failing in his duties, he should go back to law school. You remember that,
I
right?
recall.
Now, if that was an observation from the head of state, why do I think like it's trial and error? These are national matters, Mr. MUTUMBA. You're not supposed to experiment. You're supposed to appoint somebody whom you know they will be able to execute their duties diligently and stick to the, if it's the SEC code of conduct, stick to their ethics and be able to serve the Zambian people diligently. We're not supposed to experiment. These are national matters and they're supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah, the challenge is that as if forewarned him, as if forewarned the institution that we trust so much to fight corruption. I've indicated corruption cannot fight corruption. Individuals that are corrupt cannot fight corruption. So now, the very time he noticed that there was a weakness in fighting corruption, there were some suspicions of involvement by staffs in the anti-corruption. He would have there and then repressed that individual, the former Director General, because he started observing long ago. Remember our president, it seems like is a person who would want to observe fully. When he make a decision to fire, I think he would have been satisfied that this person is underperforming.
But his party and the Zambian people do not have that time, Mr. MUTUMBA. You know that.
Yeah, so now it is a
don't have
lesson.
that time.
It is a lesson, as you have indicated. That
did he have to take one of the board members in the Anti-Corruption Commission to get fatigued by what this man is accused or allegedly to have done for such an action to take place, Mr. MUTUMBA?
So that delay is unacceptable. The president, the moment he identifies that there is a weakness in an institution, he must quickly replace such individuals. Remember, we talked about the delay even to appoint some people
Exactly.
to fill in some vacancies.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, how long did it take to appoint
him? It took us more than 7
Cabinet,
months.
how long did it take to appoint the entire cabinet?
You get the point. It took us almost close to a month, trying to question why is the president delaying. Maybe he could have some challenges to identify people that can save in some portfolios. But now, we are looking at, the reports that were coming out. The president was aware that something is fishy in the ACC. But the delay to act is another challenge we are facing with the president. I think we must speak so openly that the president should not delay in reappointing people to fill in, persons that have capacity to save in different portfolios. This is a problem now. Look at the report that came out from, FIC. It's quite very disappointing. We talked about billions of kwacha leaving our country, going to Asia.
In the first quarter.
In the first quarter,
that is.
The action is not yet taken. I don't know whether the investigations are underway. If they are underway, I think there is a delay. So now, we are making checks and balances to find out what is going on. Why is the president, even after reports that some state staffs in state chambers are involved in corruption, there is no action? It takes the president to address us, trying maybe to seemingly defending those that are accused. You remember the story of one brother who is still incarcerated today over the Godi scandal. We heard of some individuals being mentioned.
What happened to that case?
You get the point.
It's
Up to
only
now,
one
it's on
individual
camera.
that has been.
It has. We've even stopped following it because if it truly that scandal happened the way it came out, we expected even the gentleman who is now incarcerated, who is undergoing the trial, to be convicted, because it seems the longer the investigations are going on,
Justice
the trial
delayed
is justice denied. You get the point. So we are admonishing the president through relevant institutions that are mandated to to investigate, to handle matters of such suspicions of public resources or funds, to quickly be handled so that we see justice. The more you delay, today we are told that the trials goes through cameras. They are not allowing any individual. Why? Because of sensitivity of the matter that is in the courts of law. So we're not seeing justice in fighting corruption. We are seeing, that's why even the president said, don't arrest before you investigate. He has repeated some, yes.
Mr. Mutumba, we do have a caller, or we missed that call. Please come through. We have Mr. Dennis Mutumba here, and we're discussing matters about the state of the nation. That's our topic of discussion. The number is on your screen there. Mr. Mutumba, there are calls to have the Anti-Corruption Commission Board dissolved. Management, which was being overseen by the DG who has resigned, to be dissolved as well, and begin a fresh start. Some sections of society are calling for a fresh start at the Anti-Corruption Commission, and for those individuals that were mentioned to be dealt with. How do you make of these particular claims? We do have a caller though, before you answer to that. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Samantha, good morning, Mr. Mutumba.
Good morning, madam.
I'm well. So we appreciate your coming on our station, and we understand that you are a good governance expert or activist. For us to reach where we are as a country, where if the DG is resigning, whether it is on integrity basis, whether it is on because he doesn't want to get into some suspicions of some sort, we do not know. So in your expert opinion, why can't we just start investigating everybody? Because to me, as a citizen of Zambia, it does not make sense that the moment the ACC is under PF, UPND people opposition is investigated. The moment UPND is in power, opposition is investigated. Are you telling me, let's talk about the example of the FIC report. According to the FIC report, do we not have other sections that we need to investigate other than just politicians? Because me as a Zambian, seriously, I am getting fed up. Whether somebody resigns, whether somebody and what is the solution? Are these people supposed to be getting arrested, or are they supposed to just be given warning and caution like at the police? Because maybe you can highlight more on that and help Zambians understand what the significance of this means, especially to a layman person like me. Not everyone in Zambia is educated. Not everybody else is exposed to understand to say, oh, this person resigned. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, madam, for coming through. We do appreciate that call. Mr. Mutumba, our lady there is suggesting that let everyone be investigated. The president said past, present, future corruption. Let everyone be investigated.
Yeah, we are admonishing the government under the UPND leadership to not to ignore those that they suspect are involved in corruption. There must be no sacred cows. So, according to what my sister has just indicated, it seems there are special people that can be protected.
Sacred cows?
Sacred cows. Others can just be given a warning and caution, released. Remember, we're talking about, the provision of, the article in the ACC for future provision in the ACC Act. Okay, that is a useless provision. I'm saying it's a useless provision in the sense that the rich are more protected and the poor are aggressively convicted because they don't have a status that can defend them. You understand? So what my sister is asking makes more sense. There is a need, if it means to dissolve the whole board in the ACC, it must be done. Luto set an example. I love that leader despite, the conflicts that are there on certain matters
in Kenya.
He's one man that has shown leadership to dissolve the cabinet secretaries and certain positions of those government staffs. There are times a president should get a board decision, not looking at how loyal those he appointed are.
Are you calling for unpopular decisions because the hallmark of a leader is making unpopular decisions, Mr. Mutumba? Are you calling for that from President Hakainde Hichilema? I'm
doing so. I hope they are following this program because it's very important to discuss matters of such nature, that the president, at times when people complain, when the opposition is talking, they must not feel they hate them. They are, in fact, opening their eyes. You get the point? We can't have a government that is, unopposed. Certain information that are coming, you must learn from them. You must, in fact, open your eyes and begin to engage intelligence investigations to find out what people say the truth. What picture will this government be portrayed at if we don't take a quick action? We have heard of, certain senior government officers involved in corruption, but we wait to hear that the president is giving a directive to say, okay, DEC, anti-corruption, can you go and investigate this and give me a report?
Should it take the president to give directives? I thought DEC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Zambia Police, all these investigative wings bundled up in one are supposed to work independently without any interference from the executive, of course. If they detect corruption, they go for it. Our sister talked about the FIC report, talked about the Auditor General's report, which looks at state institutions and how they misappropriate, mismanage, misapply public funds. Mr. Mutumba, why haven't we seen any arrests? But previously in the PF, now we're in the UPND, and the UPND told us they were going to fight corruption to the latter. But the institution that is supposed to fight corruption is being accused of being corrupt itself. Are we safe as citizens?
Yeah. What we are talking about is that the opposition political party, okay? The opposition political party are there to make checks and balances. Do you know that opposition has intelligence to investigate and find the faults of any government, just like UPND used to do? UPND had the first-hand information, which sometimes they used to expose. But, the previous government ignored the information. And this is what made the Zambians to decide to remove them, because corruption under PF was too much. And it has also continued, meaning corruption is still alive even under UPND. So, our pace of demolishing the government is that let UPND be more serious in fighting corruption. Remember, we had a record that, Zambia was ranked under the leadership of UPND to be fighting corruption so faster. But in the long run, they've reduced. We are hearing now the people that are supposed to fight corruption are people that are accused. They are alleged to have
Who
been.
made that report, and what did that report
The ranking, process was done by one of the organizations.
here in Zambia?
No, not here in Zambia. In diaspora. You remember when people were just clapping to say, no, HH is fighting corruption, and some of us were even happy. We even commented to say, okay, it's very good, because we saw a number of, individuals being arrested, and, they were taken to court. But even those that were taken to court, we could see the reverse of issues. Those they arrested, those they suspected that might have maybe stolen government money and buy properties, at the end of the day, the courts ruled out that these people were innocent. And we began to questioning, are these institutions mandated to fight corruption doing the best to fight corruption? So now, what I'm saying is that UPND should not be in the comfort zone. Even amidst people complaining that there is corruption, you find that they are pressing us who are saying, no, this government is doing well. Now, when such informations are coming, people are telling you to say, no, your people are stealing. Don't play a deaf ear. This will cost you. This is what UPND was talking about when they were in opposition, and PF played the deaf ear. At the end of the day, people decided that we can't allow this government to continue. We need another government that is assuring us to fight corruption better than the previous regime.
Okay. Mr. Mutumba, let's come to the issue now, away from matters of corruption. Let's come to the issue of an audio clip that we just played showcasing UKA, or United Kwacha Alliance member, NDC faction leader, Sabo Imboela, saying that she initially they had nothing to do with the Patriotic Front. We were trying to call the gentleman she mentioned in the initial stages of that video clip. Unfortunately, his phones are off, and we can't get his comment at broadcast time. We'll keep on continuing. Probably we'll bring that in our main news. But for now, how do you make of these cracks that are coming in the United Kwacha Alliance? Seems like they want to kick out the PF out of the United Kwacha Alliance, Mr. MUTUMBA, because there have been reports that UKA is ECL and ECL is UKA. But from that particular audio clip, Ms. Savoy Mboela seems to think otherwise, Mr. MUTUMBA.
Yeah, if there is an alliance, an illegal alliance that is disorganized, it's UKA.
Okay.
Because it seems they have nothing to do without ECL. So it would be better for these opposition political parties that are in alliance to be part of UKA, to get organized or think otherwise, because they are not going anywhere. There is already a bad seed within themselves. And
what is that bad seed?
The bad seed is that you can't form an alliance within an individual that people have rejected. There are people that have just, dented their political image because they are into this UKA. Are you aware that Zambians would not accept to be read again by ECL? Of course, he has a number of those who are supporting him.
You're on the ground. Are you telling
ground.
us this because this is what the grassroots is talking about?
Yeah, that opposition political party without ECL, it would have done better because they are forming themselves. I'm not saying that they should not do that, because it's within their political rights to form an alliance, because even UPND was in an alliance with PF. Remember when Emmanuel was ruling? So even themselves, they must be more organized. Now, we want to see new political parties coming to provide a solution that Zambians are complaining of. Otherwise, we don't have any opposition that is stronger to unseat UPND. So now, those are, statements that are coming out through the audios that you just listened, we followed, and we are still analyzing. Could it be that maybe Savoy Mboela, NDC leader, is trying to back off? And it is possible to back off, because we've seen before that alliances, sometimes they would be formed at a later stage. Some political parties are moving out. We saw UPND moving out from the alliance with the PF under the MMD regime. Why? It is disagreements that comes because of certain things that are happening. For example, if the PF is led by ECL and they want to take over the UKA, I don't think some political parties would accept. I want to remind people of something that they did not see, even when Hari Kalaba had a rally in Kitwe. That rally was organized by Kalaba. But a person who was given a platform to speak spoke like he wants to take over from the person who organized the rally.
Who's that person?
That is ECL.
For the viewers that didn't watch it, who's that person?
ECL now began to say that, I'm there to lead you. So I was trying to ask myself a question to say, what is the status of Kalaba to have organized that rally? Of course, inviting the alliance to be on the stage. I realize that there is a disorganization within that political alliance. They are not organized. Everyone is thirsty for power.
In that alliance?
In that alliance. Kalaba wants to be a president. Of course, the Silavwes are trying to seem they're just down there, but they also have intentions to lead. The Sapiva squatters. Even the difficult himself is also trying to find
Common
president.
Thomas
Siparo. So now we are saying let UKA be registered, legally registered, and be organized, and agree who is going to lead UKA. Otherwise, it will be melting just like ice when the sun hits. You get the point? So I'm complaining, and I've been telling people as a balanced activist that we do not have strong opposition. I was looking at our comrade, Dr. Freddie Membe. I looked at the results of the recent by-election. I realized that, okay, things were changing, but currently as we speak, amidst this tough economy, there isn't a political party that can unseat UPND.
My question to you, Mr. MUTUMBA, is why should, as an activist, from an activist point of view, why should the Zambian people stick with the UPND amidst load shedding, prolonged hours of load shedding, allegations of corruption at the Anti-Corruption Commission, and if these allegations were not were not true, or they are yet to be proven to be true, we wouldn't have seen the DG resigning. Number one. Number two, high cost of living. People are going 1 meal a day, some not even a meal. They are subjected to mini or small packs of mini meal, popularly known as tupamela in our local dialect. Mr. Mutumba, why should the people of Zambia cling to the UPND amid these high fuel pump prices? Why should the people of Zambia cling to the UPND amidst alarming fake reports? In the first quarter of 2024, 60 billion kwacha, $60 billion externalized out of this country, and we are saying the coffers are empty. Now we have the fake report suggesting that 13.58 billion kwacha has been misappropriated through illicit financial transactions. Mr. Mutumba, why should the people of Zambia cling to the UPND? As an activist, I want to find out.
I want to be very truthful. I've indicated before you posed this question that there isn't any opposition political party that is telling us to provide a solution to the high cost of living, provide a solution to load shedding, providing a solution to fight corruption. Instead, their statements to convince the people is not there, but just speaking, what we call name calling. We want to see an opposition that will directly provide an idea on how we have an alternative to the load shedding we are facing today. I want to tell you, and I remember I indicated that right now, even if we're going to remove UPND, and maybe just by chance engage another political party to rule, they will still begin to fail, just like PF failed and UPND is failing again. Let's talk about reality here. Yes, it's on record that our president, under this government, he talked about how he would provide a solution to load shedding because he said it's unacceptable. He referred to a country where there are no rains even after 10 years, that even when there is a drop of water, load shedding is unacceptable under PF government. And him, when he gets into power, he will provide a solution to curb load shedding. Remember, PF never experienced load shedding by choice. It was because of climate change, because alternatively,
the UPND rubbished that.
They rubbished that. They said it is unacceptable. Now, when we begin to say, Mr. President, you told us, you assured us that you would, you would provide a solution, but what has happened now? There is no justification of his statement by then. People are defending and pressing us, are just saying, no, the president does not provide the rains. But when you were saying that even when there is a drop of,
we should be objective, Mr. Mutumba.
Okay.
We should be objective whether one supports the current regime or the previous regime. At the end of the day, we are all Zambians.
Yes.
And we should be very objective. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, my question to you, Mr. Mutumba, is you have said the PL failed lamentably. The UPND is failing. Why then should we continue on a path of failure?
If I was I was to be factual, the truth is that as we make decision to rule out, to vote out leadership, we must look at what solution would we provide, and which opposition political party would we bring in to provide the solution to the problems that we are facing today. That is question number one. I think UPND lacks persons that have the capacity to help the president. It seems the president has no capability. This is what I can tell you right now.
But we have, for instance, the infrastructure minister. He is a qualified engineer. He worked in the mines. He understands the mines. We have seasoned economist, and he is a financial expert, a good negotiator for that matter. I've done my research on him. Dr. Honorable Stumbekom Sokoto, a brilliant man. Mr. Mutumba. We have experienced politician in the name of Honorable Sylvia Masebo, seasoned politician. We have the likes of Honorable Felix Chipota Mutati. He is an experienced man, also coming with a wealth of knowledge when it comes to governance. He is a former finance minister. We have Mr. Mutumba in this cabinet, in this very cabinet. The likes of WK Mutadena Lumango, the vice president, Mr. Mutumba, a teacher by profession, and she was the deputy speaker back in the day. You know that, Mr. Mutumba. She comes with a wealth of knowledge to this very cabinet. Why then is this cabinet being deemed to be failing to perform when it has got experienced, seasoned people?
Let me speak the truth. These are not performing ministers. I would be very open, and somebody there will argue.
Why do you say
what
that?
am I talking about? They will say, what am I talking about?
Why would you say that?
If truly the way you've just elaborated their capacities and their experience, these are experienced people. These are people that have been in governments after governments. You get the point.
We have the likes of the Home Affairs Minister, Honorable Jack Mimbu, State Council,
if I
seasoned parliamentarian. Another one, Honorable Gary Nkombo, Mazabuka #1, seasoned politician. They're in this cabinet.
He's a liar. If you talk about Gary Nkombo, he's a liar who promised this country that when we form government, we'll demolish some properties in an illegal setup.
Is it for 27?
27?
Okay.
Did he do that? He's one politician who said, no, we'll bring water all the way from wherever he mentioned. I think you know where he mentioned.
The canal?
Canal. Is that, did he actualize what he mentioned? So this is a team of political liars.
Just like that.
If it is true, with their capacity, as explained, the finance minister, Felix Mutata has been a commerce minister for a longer time. Okay, you talk of the minister of infrastructure.
Yes,
he's
seasoned engineer,
an MP, seasoned engineer. But the question is, even when there is a minister of finance, why is it that we have a high cost of living now? If all these were expert as mentioned. So talking when you are in opposition is very easy. Remember, just listen to the president says, it's very hard to read people. Do you understand the depth of that statement?
Coming from the head of state.
Coming from the head of state when he attended the ceremony in the southern province. It indicates that it's not easy. Easy to talk when you are not in position. But the moment you are given that chance, you understand now the challenges that are faced in governing. So, they may be experienced, and for that matter, these are recycled politicians. We have a lot of Zambians.
I think you are being mean. You are being mean on these individuals.
Let me indicate here before you say anything. These are recycled politicians when we have young people and the capable people. The problem is we don't want to identify who are capable. We are looking at experience. There are other new characters. Even you, if we are to give you to be a Minister of Information and Broadcasting, you can serve better than the people that are there.
Okay.
So the challenge is we are looking at when we are engaging people, we are looking at the relationship. We are not looking at the capacity. So in most cases,
it's loyalty over competence.
That's the thing. So we need to appoint people on merit.
Okay.
And we need to have leaders who open up. For example, if it is true the resignation of the DG at ACC is on moral grounds, then that is the integrity we are looking for in people that are serving in capacities. But if he's resigning because he's involved, then we are blaming the president that sometimes when appointing people, you should not look at relationship. You should look at the capacity and how one can handle that portfolio once one is appointed. You get the point. So politics is a game of business. Is a business where the rich, take advantage of lying to the poor majority citizens in order for them to enrich themselves. Remember, we are under the capitalist regime, where most leaders in the service, in the government, are businessmen.
So it's all about profit?
It's all about profit.
Over service?
Yes. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. They care about their businesses.
Maximizing on their profit.
So we want to see a leadership under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema. To me, I look at him as a good president, but there is something that is lacking. It's either he doesn't listen to the advice, or those that are supposed to advise him are cowards.
I was reading a write-up by Miss Laura Miti. She has been in the media recently, and she's doing a good job from where I'm standing, from where I'm seated. She talks about some of those appointed by the president are too junior to advise him in their capacities. Some of them are just too junior. They lack experience. Even if you talk about potential, some of them leave much to be desired, to be given such positions. Example, I don't want to mention names and positions, but according to what she says, some of the positions that the president has given to certain individuals, they're just too junior to advise him to be given such a position. No wonder we are seeing what is currently unfolding, Mr. Mutumba.
Now, the way they are fearing, if at all they are fearing, and they don't advise, then they are risking to be removed, because underperforming will cause Zambians.
Advise them on what? When they lack the knowledge, when they lack the information or on that particular thing, they're supposed to advise them. That's why the junior aspect is coming from, Mr. Mutumba.
Do you understand that the ministers should be advisors to the president?
Exactly.
Because they all work under the office of the president.
Exactly. And they form cabinet.
Under Minister of Agriculture, no one should lie that things are okay. The Minister of Agriculture, the PS, and the directors, they should give factual reports and not comforting the president. By so doing, they are misleading the head of state, and at the end of the day, the cost will come to the party, because people will no longer keep people alive. For example, if I give you an example of Mutoropidi, he's just a loyalist man who is not even serious to govern under that ministry. He lied that we have enough maize, but what happened later on? They began to give us information that they are trying to import maize from somewhere. Why should the president keep that minister? You get the point? Even in energy, in Ministry of Finance, in health, we need ministers that are very factual, because the president, if he does not understand issues to do with health, we have Dr. Sylvia Masego, who understands the administration of Ministry of Health. He's a person who advises to say, no, we have COVID. Let the president now announce that we are closing schools. Why? It's because the report is coming from a minister who understands things better than the president. But if they are cowards, they just want to praise the president, then they're misleading the president, and the president does not need such people. Ruto, William, he set an example.
The Kenyan president?
He dissolved. Do you know why he dissolved? When I analyzed and I studied why he dissolved, those are people who are lying to the president.
There were liabilities to him.
Yes. So he says, I don't need them. I need people that will seriously handle matters of governance, very serious.
Mr. Mutumba, there have been calls for ministers in various ministries to come out and begin to address some of the issues that the country is currently going through. I remember in the MMD regime, the first part, even the second part, even the third part, a child of not 5 years, a child in grade 5 will be able to name all the cabinet ministers, from the president to the last minister. Okay? Because they would appear on TV, they would go for radio discussions, they would visit people and the like. Fast forward to 2024, under the UPND administration, some of these ministries, members of the public are saying, we don't even know the minister for such and such a ministry. People even ask you to say, who is the minister of ZESCO instead of energy? Because they don't know. You know what I mean? Who is the Minister of Agriculture? Who is the Minister, for instance, of Small Scale and Medium Enterprise? The last time we saw him, it was on a poster suggesting that he's vying for Shiwangandu. That poster that went around. Now, where are the ministers to begin to address the challenges that the people are currently going through, Mr. Mutumba? We don't see them on TV. We do see them, but we rarely see them coming for interviews. You call them, they don't pick up. You call their PSAs, no, call him back again, he'll pick up. What is really happening? If people are not serious to govern, why then do they vie for offices?
That challenge has really affected the citizens, because from the time these ministers and those who are just nominated by the president, those that are MPs in their various constituencies, up to now, I can't remember when any of the ministers or an MP has gone to hold a meeting for their people to address and help them understand what is going on and the solution provided for, and what programs UPND is putting in place to curb high cost of living, to explain why fuel is expensive, to explain why this load shedding is there. People are just complaining that no, this bomber, Siribuino. Why? There is no MP, there is no minister who is going on the ground to tell the people on the grassroots. You get the point? So now, they are too smart that they are doing better, when in fact not. I was telling somebody that come 2026 general election, if at OUPND will have many ministers or MPs, I don't think there will be a bigger number of MPs, because most MPs under UPND will be rejected by the people. Because why? They do not have the capacity to go and explain matters of, good governance, issues that are affecting Zambians. They don't have that time. They're comfortable to run in parliament to make that noise when they take long to pass a law. You get the point? They are busy. Yes, of course, we understand that we elected them to go and make good laws for the Zambians. But they must have time, being people that are in leadership, to explain issues to the people on the ground. The same way they were asking for the votes before they were elected. You get the point? They will begin to go back in their constituencies. When election time comes, it will be too late. Right now, more ministers for the previous government are known by the Zambians. They make a lot of noise. But these that we elected, they are too quiet in the comfort zone. What will happen when those people are misled by the opposition? Because Mundubile is making noise. Is everyone on TV opposing the government. And the people know it. But these MPs that we have, the ministers that the president appointed, are nowhere to be seen in their respective constituencies. And the people wants to hear what is causing load shedding, what is causing the high cost of living, what is causing the dollar to be up all the time. Now, Mr. There is need to explain all these things.
Mr. Mutumba, to be very sincere with you, my question is, if the Minister of Energy in Parliament, on the floor of the House, is struggling to answer a simple question regarding the mitigation measures they've put in place on load shedding, do you honestly think he can go to his constituency? He doesn't have a constituency anymore. He was appointed. He can go to the general public and explain the measures of load shedding, mitigation measures of load shedding, if in Parliament the UPND ministers are finding it hard to explain to their fellow parliamentarians the solutions to load shedding? Do you think they can have the courage to face the Zambian people in this stressful economy to explain to them what they are doing about load shedding? I doubt it, Mr. Mr.
Yeah, that's where we have a problem. If they're not able to respond to the questions raised in the parliament, then they cannot definitely address the people or the nation. So we want effective leaders. Leaders that can advise the president on the way to go. Leaders that are selfless, who are not selfish. You get the point? So the challenge is that most leaders that the president appointed, they are too much into comfort zone. They have a lot of justification on their mistakes. Sometimes I wanted to hear the president one day the president addressing us and say, I'm sorry for all the assurances on certain promises that I made.
Politicians rarely do that.
I saw Ruto saying, I'm really sorry. There are three things I want to mention when he addressed the Kenyans. He says, you can engage the law to face me and investigate me if I'm not a good leader. Secondly, you can also forgive me for the mistakes that I've done. What courage is that from a leader? This is what we want to hear the president to tell us. The issue of load shedding, which I mentioned, I'm really sorry because climate change has really disturbed our plans to save the country better.
But just on that one, as we begin to wind up, Mr. MUTUMBA, we only have 3 minutes, is it? The Minister of Energy on the floor of Parliament was asked a similar question, and he said, we are hoping for a good rain for Pechen. We are hoping that this year it rains. Now, the people that produced, the institute that produced the warning signs about El Nino last year, they've told you categorically so that you have 3 years. This would be a 3-year cycle of drought. You are still hoping, Mr. MUTUMBA, as an activist. How do you look at such a response?
The truth is that I mentioned it to you that this load shedding, you remember if you recall very well, I said it is taking us another 3 years because the water levels, okay, the cubics that fills the dam to allow the intakes to run all the 6 turbines, the waters is not there. Those that constructed the dam, they never thought it would be hit with climate change, which will reduce the water levels in the dam. This time around, I'm a person who tours Kariba. Waters are there, but the level at which the waters can go in the intakes to run the turbines are too low. Now, what mechanisms are there? We need to involve engineers who think big outside the box. Relying on the rains, it will not work, because even when you look at the picture at which the waters were and where they are now, there is no rains that can fill that level. Otherwise, we just need option 2 for electricity, so that our country, you remember, electricity runs the economy.
As we wind up, the ZESCO DG, or Director General, says that water level, it was quoted in the media, water levels are depleting at a faster rate at the Kariba Dam, right?
Yeah.
And the mitigation measures that are being put in place by the power utility company are not enough, according to him. The minister on the floor of Parliament hopes for rains this year. Why are we having inconsistent, conflicting statements from this administration? Does this mean this is not a consultative government? They do not sit together, they decide, they plan for the Zambian people?
ZESCO indicated that the government should be open to tell the people that in the next few months we may go for a blackout. Why? The water levels are going down because the turbines that were installed are bigger to consume a lot of water.
But the politicians in government are not taking
They do not understand what they're talking about. They must have a statement from an engineer who surveys what is going on.
A technocrat.
Not just talking. That's why a politician can speak that who created a canal all the way from Tanganyika to fill in Kafiu and Kariba Dam. It's a political language. It's not an engineer point of view. It's a language to please the people and tell ignorant Zambians that he can do it when in fact not. So politicians should consult the engineers before they issue a statement. Otherwise, they'll be having conflicting statements that are opposing to one another. So my admonition is that let the government be serious. The situation we're passing through is not easy. Thank God the president says it's not easy to govern, meaning he has admitted he knows how difficult it is. So they must go back to the drawing board.
Do they still have
We can still give them, yes, we can still give them another mandate. To me, I'm against changing this government now, because we do not have anyone who is providing a solution, who is telling us that when he comes into power, electricity will be provided for 24 hours. We only have people that are name calling. We only have people that are speaking things that you cannot even understand. So we want to see an opposition that is going to reduce the high cost of living. They must tell us how they will do it. We must have a government or opposition that will tell us, oh, fuel will be reduced at 17 kwacha, and they must tell us how they will do it. Of course, UPND is trying to find, you
You
know,
already showed us the graphs,
yeah,
the equations.
yeah. So we are waiting for implementation.
Okay. Mr. Mutumba, let me thank you most sincerely. We have to wind up just now. Let me thank you for coming through and for being so candid with your response to our questions this morning. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and thank you, the viewers out there, the major stakeholders. We missed a number of your calls. Apologies. This was due to, obviously, technical challenges on our part. However, we'd like to leave you and hopefully we'll see you when you see us. Good morning and God bless Zambia.